Hello Internet, it's Dr. DRPG, back again with another unboxing. This time it is the D&D Essentials Kit from Wizards of the Coast. This was released, if memory serves, back in June in the US, but here in Canada we only got it on September 3rd, and mine arrived today. I had it pre-ordered quite a while ago, but thank the email beavers at Canada Post for, stopping to chew down trees for a week. Anyhow, here we are, and let's get to the unboxing. On the back here, we've got Unleash Your Imagination, Defeat the Dragon of Icespire Peak. It says that the set includes a 64-page rulebook that teaches you how to create characters of levels 1 to 6 and play the game. Memory serves, the starter set was levels 1 to 5. The Dragon of Icespire Peak, an introductory adventure, double-sided poster map, Dungeon Master screen, 6 blank character sheets, 11 polyhedral dice, 81 cards describing magic items, sidekicks, and more, and includes codes to continue your D&D journey on D&D Beyond, the official digital toolset of Dungeons and Dragons. Unique discount codes for 50% off the digital version of the player's handbook, unique product key to unlock the digital version of the Dragon of Icespire Peak adventure, and access to supplementary content for Dragon of Icespire Peak. Ooh, that sounds cool. All right, let's open this thing. Okay, so here are the dice. Some would argue this is the most important part, especially if you're a dice dragon who collects far too many dice. So there's 2 d20s, which is really good. It would have been better if there would have been one of a different color, though, or one slightly different size, because how are you supposed to know, really, if you are, well, I suppose if you're rolling with advantage, you take the higher anyhow, so I guess it really doesn't matter. That's a pet peeve of mine. I like to use 2 different colored ones. But hey, whatever. And there's 4 d6s, so that's cool. And we have percentile dice. And I just want to point out the 9 there. So it's got a nice dot on it. That's cool. So you don't confuse your 9s and 6s. There we go. All right, here is the adventure. Oh, this is a thick one. Look at that. So that is different from the Lost Mines of Phandelver, which was stapled. This is, I believe this is called Perfect Bound. You can see it's glued. But let's have a peek. Skeletal horse. It's funky. We got Running the Adventure, so an overview, the Forgotten Realms, first session, character creation, the adventure begins. And then we've got some extra locations that we can use for fleshing out Phandalin a little bit more. Can we see that? Without all that glare. So we got Axholm, Butterskull Ranch, the Circle of Thunder, Dragon Barrow, Dwarven Excavation, Falcon's Hunting Lodge, Gnomengard, Icespire Hold, Loggers Camp. Then over here we got Mountains Toe Gold Mine. That sounds cool. Shrine of Savras, Tower of Storms, Umbrage Hill, Woodland Manse, and then ending the adventure. Where next? And then creature stat blocks and creature descriptions. So let's have a quick flip through this. And oh, that's a cool boar. Oh, maybe you can see it better. Let's move the box out of the way. So there's this crazy spectral boar wild boar of some kind. Let's quickly read the overview here. It says, a D&D adventure is a collection of locations, quests, and challenges that inspire you to tell a story. The outcome of that story is determined by the actions and decisions of the adventurers, and of course, the luck of the dice. You can run Dragon's Vicefire Peak for as few as 1 player or as many as 5. Well, that sounds interesting. I'd like to see how they approach that. Each player starts with a first level character. The adventure is set a short distance from the city of Neverwinter in the Sword Coast region of the Forgotten Realms setting. The Sword Coast is part of the North, a vast realm of free settlements surrounded by lawless, untamed wilderness. You don't need to be a Forgotten Realms expert to run the adventure, as everything you need to know about the setting is contained in this book. If this is the first time running a D&D adventure, read the Role of the Dungeon Master section. And then it goes on to describe what the Dungeon Master is. And then, oh, here's some good stuff for first-time players. It says here, on this side, DM tips. So, when in doubt, make it up. And most people, new DMs, don't really get that. A lot of DMs, me in particular, you know, when you're in the middle of a game, you don't want to, stop the game to look stuff up. So, make a quick ruling and keep the game going. And later on, you can see if you got it right, close to right, or just totally blew it. And then you can, if you have a good group of players, you can say, hey, that thing where we sort of were confused. Well, yeah, we did it a little bit wrong. So going forward, we'll do whatever it was we were doing the proper way. And then again, it's a shared. Another good tip is embrace the shared story, and that's something that a lot of new people don't get for role-playing games. It's a shared story. It's not a spotlight for themselves. It's not a one-person video game made on paper and played at a table. It's not like that. It's a collective story where everybody plays a part, and the spotlight should rotate among the players. Everybody gets their chance to shine, and that immediately goes into the next point, which is it's not a competition, and there is no winning unless winning is actually having fun, and then you win. And that's something that a lot of people don't get when they first start out. Then it says be consistent and fair, and that actually is a very, very, very important rule for DMs, especially new DMs when they're starting out. You need to be consistent and you need to be fair. There's a lot of horror stories going around, where the DM favors a certain player or their girlfriend or boyfriend or brother, sister, whatever. You got to be fair. I mean, if that person that you are favoring, whether you're in a relationship with them or whatever, if they do something stupid in the game, don't go easy on them if you're not going to go easy on the other player for doing the same thing. That's important, and that's something that you should discuss in your first session, session 0. Because everybody should know that you are going to be fair and you're going to be impartial, and that's the best thing that a dungeon master can be. And then back to the next point, which is modify the adventure to suit your tastes. And I'll read this one. It says, the adventure has no prescribed outcome. You can alter any encounter to make it more interesting and fun for your particular group of players. And that's something that any DM will do once they gain some experience. Let's say a good example of this that I frequently do is if your group is encountering, say, a group of goblins and they are just powering through them. You know what? Guess what? Reinforcements have arrived. Make it a little difficult for them. I mean, it's not fun when there's no challenge. So that's one example, and that's a very common and very easy one to do. And another good thing that you can do when you get a little bit more experienced is to, just alter things to maybe suit the way you want it to be. If you have an idea of what your town or what your setting is like, don't be afraid to change things, change names, change, um, you know, locations, anything to suit your particular version of the setting. There's no right or wrong way to do it, as long as you're fair and consistent, and you have fun with your players. They won't even know, and it's great. The world that you play in is yours, and your players, and you make it what you want it to be, because there's no right and there's no wrong way to do it, really. But anyhow, the last thing that we have here is keep a notepad and some graph paper handy. And that's very important. If you're making up names for NPCs on the fly, or people that you run into, or say you throw a map or a key to a chest or something like that in loot from a room, just write it down. That way, when you go back and your players encounter that NPC or find a chest that key was supposed to be for, you have the note. Graph paper will be helpful if you need to draw a quick map for the players. Yeah, so that's cool. What else we got in here? The other components, it says, is the DM screen, the poster map, and the cards. Yeah, so let's get looking at those. So here's the map of the Sword Coast. It's a little bit different from the one in the starter set with the Lost Mines of Phandelver, because Phandalin, the town, is right there, right in the center. So we got locations all around there. The Dwarven Excavation, Axe Home, Nomengard, Umbridge Hill, the Gold Mine, Icespire Hold, and then places here in Neverwinter Wood. Whereas the starter set had Cragmaw Hideout and the castle over here, and Coneybury's there, but where's Thundertree? I don't see it anywhere. So yeah, there's some locations missing, but yeah, there we go. We got some good artwork. Oh, here's something I want to quickly check. It says here, running for one player. If you're running this adventure for a single player, you can give that player a sidekick as a secondary character. Let the player choose one of the pre-generated sidekicks from the selection of sidekick cards. Rules and stat blocks for sidekicks appear in the rulebook. You might need to help the player run the sidekick for the first few sessions. If a sidekick is lost or no longer needed, the character can return to Phandalin and acquire a new one. Make sure the player understands the roles and limitations of sidekicks in this adventure. Sidekicks are stalwart companions who can perform tasks both in and out of combat, including things such as setting up camp and carrying gear. Yeah, those used to be called hirelings. Ideally, a sidekick's ability should be complementary to those of the main character. For example, a spellcaster makes a good sidekick for a fighter or a rogue. Very true. All right, so then we got the adventure begins, some adventure background. Welcome to Phandalin. Town of Phandalin. Now, these maps here and on the other page were done by Mike Schley, and they were available at his website. So you can get those digitally. That might be included in the codes that they mentioned here. I'm not sure. I haven't checked it out yet because, hey, this is brand new for me. But yeah, I strongly recommend going to his website and checking him out, because he does amazing artwork and cartography. So we got the Circle of Thunder. Looks like this one is balanced for characters of 6th level, though characters of 4th and 5th can weather its challenges if they are cautious. Oh, that's cool. So we go quickly from different locations and different levels. Axe Home, for instance, is balanced for characters of 5th level. Cool. So there's lots of things. The Dwarven Excavation, characters of 1st level. So it looks like they're just putting stuff in the book, not necessarily it's first level followed by second level, etc. But these look really cool. I can see a lot of use for these in my current campaign. And Nomengard here is first level as well. So we got all kinds of things. Icespire Hold. Not sure what this one is about. Probably the dragon himself. But yeah, here's the Loggers Camp. That one's a third level encounter. Mountains Toe Gold Mine is fourth level. So yeah, there's lots of good stuff in here. Shrine of Savras is first to sixth level. And then a Tower of Storms is third level. And here we have Umbrage Hill. So this actually is really, really useful. If you have the starter set, I could see combining this with the starter set just to flesh out the whole area a whole lot more. And then you have ending the adventure. And then new creature stat blocks, hit points. We've got an Anchorite of Talos. That's a new critter or encounter. These religious recluses are granted spellcasting power by Talos, the god of storms. They're human ancestors bred with orcs, and now all Anchorites of Talos are half-orcs. Ooh. Then we got Nankeg. That's in the monster manual, so is the Banshee. We got Needle Blights and Twig Blights and Vine Blights. I can't remember if a Vine Blight was in the monster manual, but we got one here. Carrion Crawler, Centaur, Commoner, Cow. We absolutely need to have stats for a cow because those are important. Looks like we got some NPCs here. Don John Raskin and Falcon the Hunter here. A ghoul. Hey, actually, check that out. That's a pretty cool drawing of a ghoul. I like that. Giant spiders and Gorthok the Thunderboar. So that's what that dude was from the front. Harpy. That's actually the most attractive looking harpy I have seen in any edition. Usually they're made to be quite hideous. Visible Stalkers. Manticore. Check that out. That's a cool drawing of a manticore. Of course, mimics, ochre jellies, ogres, all that fun stuff. An orc. A veteran, which is soldiers retired from military service, and they are CR3. Sturges, wererats, and a young white dragon, who is the big bad of this particular adventure. Oh, cool. Map key. That's important. Always useful. All right. Next we have the D&D Essentials Kit. Looks like a card box for the cards. Oops. For the cards that you can fold, rather cut out and use. There we go. And speaking of cards, here we go. So we got initiative cards. So I guess you hand out initiative cards to whoever's first through 9th based on their roll. Then we got, looks like some condition cards. Restrained, prone, poisoned, magic charm, unconscious, stunned, combat. Oh, okay. So, yeah, we got poisoned and its description. Prone and its description, followed by other conditions, and then 3 combat step-by-step little hint cards, which comes in handy for new players and people new to 5th edition. And then more condition cards, and looks like we're into the sidekicks here. What's with the cowboy hats? It's the second person with a cowboy hat. So we have Inverna Nightbreeze, Galandra Luna, Donabella Fiasco, Quinn Hightopple, Pickled Pete, Any other guy who could suit that name? Nib Alderspur, Talon Thornwild, Shanjan Quan, and Ruby Hammerwhacker. And then their stats and stuff on the back. And got some magic items here. Here's the back. So looks like these are all pretty standard stuff. We got potions of healing, potion of invulnerability, superior healing, water breathing, ascending stones. Those are awesome. And look, that's good. It comes in pairs. So you give one to one player and one to another, and then they know what they can do with them. Potion. We got some more. Necklace of fireballs, potions of healing, potions of greater healing again. Lots of potions of healing. That's cool. More magic items. We got Dragon Slayer, which is a sword. That's cool. Dust of Disappearance. Mithril Chainmail. Removable Rod. Always useful, those. Then we got +1 Battle Axe, +1 Longbow, Mace. So looks like standard magic items. I haven't. Oh, here's one. That's new. Cloak of Many Fashions. Haven't heard of that one. But while wearing this cloak, you can use a bonus action to change the style, color, and apparent quality of the garment. The cloak's weight doesn't change, regardless of its appearance. The cloak can't be anything but a cloak. Although it can duplicate the appearance of other magic cloaks, it doesn't gain their magical properties. It'd be cool for disguises. And then we got some quest cards. The Dwarven Excavation Quest, Nomengard Quest, Umbridge Hill Quest, all the ones from the sites in the adventure book. So that's cool. Here now is that same map from that page, but does it have any locations? No. So this is the player's map. Can't really show that all that well, but suffice to say, all those big X's from the map inside the adventure book are not there. But we've got a Sword Coast, Neverwinter right there, all the way down to Leland and Phandalin. Anything on the back? Oh, yep. On the back, we have Phandalin itself. So, 2 Tribord Trail, Barthen's Provisions, Townmaster's Hall, all the good locations. And then we have a rulebook and conditions on the back, which is actually, that's good to have it on the back because those are frequently looked up. So let's see, what do we got? We got the Welcome to Dungeons and Dragons, rules on creating a character, playing the game, everything from advantage and disadvantage to the environment, combat, underwater combat. Look at that. And we got equipment, spells, and then Appendix A, sidekicks. So let's quickly have a peek at that because that's the one I'm most interested in right now. Oh, that's a cool drawing. Maybe a quick page through. Oh, there's cool. Oh, you can play a bard straight off the bat. Cantrips, clerics. If memory serves, this goes into a little bit more detail than the rulebook in the starter set. Got roguish archetypes, various schools of the arcane for wizards. Got some backgrounds. Combat. Some more art. mounted combat equipment. I like that one. That's a nice piece of art there. Equipment lists, which are good. Looks like they've improved on it on the starter set quite a bit. So I like that. I could see this being good competition for that, and maybe even transition over to it from the starter set. And spell lists. And then here we go, sidekicks. All right. So it says, on your adventure, the DM might reveal that you've been befriended a special character called a sidekick who joins your party. This appendix presents the game statistics for sidekicks, which there are 3 types. So we have an expert, which is an agile and exceedingly helpful jack of all trades, a spellcaster, who is a magic user who can cast spells to harm your foes and heal you and your friends, and a warrior, which is a martial companion who specializes in striking your foes and defending you and your allies. The DM will either tell you which type of sidekick to use or let you choose one. It's up to you and your DM to decide who controls the sidekick in play. Usually what I've done is I'll control them until the player who they're assigned to, through their actions, like for instance not sending them in to trip all the traps at that particular NPC's expense, if they treat them fairly and like they would a normal person in real life, then at that point they'll get to control the character themselves and determine exactly how they're going to act and what they do and all that fun stuff. But yeah, we have a spellcaster, which is a first level medium humanoid, the expert, first level medium humanoid, and then the warrior, same deal. So that's cool. Let's see. So for the spellcaster, you choose a role for the spellcaster, which is either healer or mage, and then you have 2 entries here. Spellcaster healer, which says the spellcaster's spellcasting ability is wisdom, because he's emulating a cleric, and the following cleric spells are prepared: guidance, sacred flame for cantrips, and then cure wounds, 2 slots. And then mage has firebolt and light for the cantrips, and sleep, 2 slots. So kind of utilitarian, which is good. The expert, which should be some sort of thiefy type, I think. Let's see. Yeah, the expert has thieves' tools and a musical instrument, so it's kind of sort of a bardish kind of deal. It's got short sword, dagger, and short bow. And then the warrior has 3 roles. 2 roles rather, but it's martial role, and then it can be either an attacker, which gains +2 bonus to attack rolls, or a defender, which gains the protection reaction below. And the protection reaction for defender only, as it says right there, the warrior imposes disadvantage on the attack roll of a creature within 5 feet of it whose target isn't the warrior. The warrior must be able to see the attacker. So that's straight out of the player's handbook, if I'm not mistaken. And then there's rules for leveling them up. And my cat is trying to break in because it needs attention. So yeah, experts beyond first level. We get like 2nd level, gets a cunning action, expertise, 3rd, ability score improvement, and the hit points go up either as a set number or you can roll for it. So they actually get some beefy hit points for a flunky, really. Spellcasters beyond first level, same deal. Spellcasting goes up and hit points goes up. And warrior, what do we get? 2nd wind, improved critical, ability score improvement, proficiency bonus, and extra attack at 6th level. So yeah, that's actually really good. And here we have the DM screen, and it's actually, this is just like the old style DM screens, like 1E style. But let's check out the art. So we got a dragon here, and then Dungeons and Dragons, and there they are in the forest. And oh, look, watch out, it's an orc ambush. And there is the dragon, the big bad. Let's have a look at the contents. And we're pushing 30 minutes, so let's sum up quick here. So we've got area of effect type things for point of origin of spells, actions in combat, long jumps, high jumps, concentrations, things you can do on your turn. Then we got conditions, and how to set a DC, and DCs for tracking, damage by level and severity. So that is actually a good little chart to have. So you can determine that, you know, hey, I'm going to throw my ogre at this first level party. No, that's a bad idea, because an ogre can one hit kill them. And that would be shown in the table there. Object armor class. Say you want to knock down a door. Well, we got wood and bone, and the armor class is 15. There you go. And then hit points, which would be, you know, fragile, resilient, that kind of stuff. You can set the hit points at your door. And then skills and abilities, and which skills are affected by which abilities. And food, drink, and lodging, so a little bit of cost tables there. Services, same deal. Travel pace, which is good to have. Encounter distance, which is actually very good to have. I was looking that up the other day because I couldn't remember. Audible distance, so trying to be quiet. Hey, that's also a very useful one to have. And then visibility outdoors. That goes right into encounter distance too. Like, you know, where you can see people on a road or you know, rolling hills, whatever. Half cover, or rather cover. You got half cover, 3/4, and total, and what the various effects are for those. And then light sources, plus a little size chart here. So that's cool. You got tiny, little tiny, and then small, medium, large, huge, and gargantuan. A friend of mine from YouTube got his purple worm, and he is painting that up today. And picture of the purple worm there reminded me. All right, so that, oh, there's still a few more things. We've got some blank character sheets, it looks like. Yeah, so there's no pre-gens in this one. So that's cool. And then we've got the, oh, that's the codes. So I'm not going to show that. I'll show the back of it, which is an ad, but I'm not going to show the codes because I want to use them. So it says, welcome adventurer. And then it's got the starter set, the essentials kit, the books, and some extra stuff. So Bolo's Guide, Xanathars, some dice, Dragon Heist, Dungeon of the Mad Mage, and Ghost of Saltmarsh. All three are good adventures. All right, so that is the D&D Essentials Kit. This has gone on for 30 minutes, and there we are. So thanks very much for watching. All in all, I think this is well worth the money. Memory serves, this was $24 Canadian. I think you can get it a lot cheaper in the US. I think it's around 15, I think. But yeah, great value for the money. I definitely think this is a good buy on my part, and it would be for anybody else wanting to get into the game. Combine this with the starter set and the Lost Mines of Phandelver, and you've got enough for a good campaign that you can flesh out and extend for several levels beyond 5th and 6th that this one does. So yeah, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.